In this video, I'm going to teach you how to insert, modify, and add effects to images. And so we're going to begin by placing an image within a page on our InDesign template. And you can see here, I'm on page 13, and I've got a couple of elements already placed in here, of course, with my wayfinding device here with the color. It's indicating that this is a hand rendering. I have a text box over here that indicates the assignment objectives, and you can see the title is up here. And so you can see here, we're going to go ahead and place our assignment right here. So InDesign, there's a couple of ways you can do it. The first is you can create a box and paste the image into the box, or you can bring the image in and crop it and adjust it. I prefer to do the latter version because it gives me a higher degree of control. But what you're going to do is go to File, and instead of Insert or Import like we're used to, InDesign places images. So let's go ahead and do File, Place, and then I'm going to browse to my image. You can see here it's hand rendering, and I'm going to hit Open. And you can see here, I haven't clicked anything, but right now it's InDesign is asking me, okay, where do you want to put it? Now, my hand rendering doesn't look as good as yours will because mine is not done. But what I'm going to do first is just do one click to place it. Okay, and there it is. And it's pretty big, but I still need to bring it down just a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab a corner here. I'm not clicking anything yet. First, I'm going to go and hold down the Control and the Shift button at the same time. And then I'm going to click and drag this corner up. Now, doing it this way keeps the proportions the same. If I just hold down the Control button, you can see, or just the Shift button, you can see it'll get all kinds of different sizes and it won't maintain the correct proportions. So what we want to do is hold down the Shift and Control button and then hover over that corner, click that grip and drag. Okay. And I'm going to put it over and let go. And then I'm going to let go of all my buttons, my Control and Shift buttons. And all I'm doing now is just clicking and dragging. Okay, I'm going to enlarge it just a little bit. So Shift and Control, bring it down. And I want to bring it right up against that grid that I had before. Okay, now I'm going to click the image itself, and I'm going to move it. I'm just dragging it, and I'm waiting to see when those green highlights show up. You can see there's a green crosshair in the middle, both running vertically and horizontally, and it's telling me the midpoint on the vertical and horizontal part of that square. So I'm going to let go once I've got it. Now, if I want to crop this image, all I have to do, I don't have to hold any buttons down with my left hand. All I have to do is just click and drag those grips, and it will adjust the size. Okay. Now what I want to do is show you a couple of things about modifying an image. Now, if I clicked on this and hovered over here, you can see if I hover over the grip, I get a diagonal arrow. But if I hover just outside of it and click, I can move this thing around like that. If I wanted to do something, slightly unique or skew my image somehow. So I'm going to hit Control Z and undo that. The next thing I'm going to do is right click once I've got everything selected, and that reveals some other modify commands. Now, if I hit the transform button, it will allow me to move and scale it, but it also allows me to rotate. Now, this image is in fine condition. It doesn't need to be rotated, but if I want to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise, I can hit that button and it will rotate, and then I can drag it back over. Control Z to undo again. I can also transform it, of course, counterclockwise, clockwise, and then I can flip it 180 degrees. And you can see here as I zoom out and hit the Alt button to click, you can see it's now upside down and I can move it again. I'm going to right click again. and um, introduce you to this idea of arranging. Now, there are layers in InDesign, and so sometimes things get on top of other things, and so you want to make sure to arrange it by sending it backward or forward. If, for example, a text box would be on top of it, and so you can see here right now, like the text box is on top of that colored box right there. But if I wanted to, I could click on the colored box, right click, and I could bring it to the front and it's going to cover up that text box. See? So there's some layering here at play that you may need to be aware of. The other thing that you can do is go down to the effects, and you can create, you can adjust the transparency here. Okay, and you could move the opacity down to 50%. And we're not going to be doing a lot of this stuff, but you can make some adjustments to the effects here. You can also bring in some outer glows, inner glows, drop shadows here. You can see here, if I click drop shadow, you can start to mess with these a little bit and increase the spread. This is kind of fun to play with, but you know, it can get overdone very quickly and kind of distracting. So you can see here that you can do some modifying that way, but that's all under the effects command. So I'm going to undo that for right now. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to do is just a quick review on shapes. And so if you needed to create, for example, a rectangle, all you would have to do, once again, let's say you wanted to bring some kind of cool vertical element coming across here. You can see as I create that, it's got an outline of black. That's what this part means, but there's no fill. So if I want to change that fill, you can change it to green, let's say. Okay, and if I want to, let's say, turn off the stroke here, we can hit this button and it will turn the stroke off so that outline is gone. And then all I need to do is go ahead and grab this, and I'm going to arrange this by bringing it to the front. And then now that lime green vertical element is going to be on top, or pardon me, underneath. And you can see I can adjust the grips like this. Now, again, this is all stuff that you can play with later on as you're developing your personal portfolio. For right now, though, the most important thing is to make sure that we know how to insert images. We know how to modify their size by scaling them up and down while maintaining the correct ratio. We know how to crop by adjusting any of the grips, and we can add basic effects to images if we want to.